Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Now, this is some interesting news, and I remember we were discussing this, my brother and I, yesterday, and as the headline reads, it says NFL or NFL, NBA issue security alert after migrant gangs target players' mansions. And so, yeah, you heard that right. America's top professional sports leagues have warned players about the growing threat of illegal alien criminal gangs targeting their mansions. So at this point, you can already see that they're well establishing the new face of terror, or at least one of them being these migrant gangs. Okay, which these are actual gangs, like notable gangs from South Central America and so on. All right, that are extending their network, so to speak, here into America, because this place to them is a very lucrative business, right? And so as you're seeing here, they're starting to target, which makes sense, right? Like, they want to rob or whatever. They're not. What's the point in robbing some bodega in the hood when you can have access to these mansions of people that you know? And when I say I mean people that are famous here, right? So it says, this comes after a string of break-ins of athletes' homes, including Kansas City Chiefs stars Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero published a note about how the sports league issued a security alert to teams after organized and skilled criminals targeted players' homes. So what should be coming to mind? 2 Ezra 15, all right, which this is really just the beginning of these things, right? Meaning if unstopped and unchecked, you're going to have this is going to escalate more and more. Policero continues, sources say the FBI is investigating the crime wave as international organized crime. The league, the NFL Players Association, and team security forces also have been monitoring the crime spree, which is believed to be tied to a South American crime syndicate. So, but we're talking about like organizations that are like tied to, human trafficking, sex trafficking, organ trafficking. Like these things also happen because, once again, these things bring money, right? Drugs, guns, all of these things. That's like, imagine traveling back in time 22 decades ago, 3 decades ago, and then, or maybe like a time when America was like, not like this. And then being shown or told that, hey, in the future, you're going to have America looking like a third world country. The political system is going to be looking like this. And so people would be like, that's not America. Well, here you are. Anyway, where we at? At least one other current NFL player's home was burglarized in the past week. It's legit, said one source familiar with the situation. It's a transnational crime ring, and over the last 3 weeks, they focused on NBA and NFL players, and it's all over the country. And eventually, through these things, they stake and they also recruit more and more people as well, because times are already hard for people, right? The economy is not doing good. Inflation is up. Times are already difficult for people. I did a lesson on that about, the season of suffering, right? People are filling up those pantry homes. They're actually saying that for this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, people are going to be financing, using credit cards and stuff to shop because they can't afford anything. So things are already hard. Times are already hard for people. In addition to that, you're going to have these gangs recruiting people and also basically performing takeovers, right? They started with apartment complexes, but they're expanding from there, underground rings and so on, and basically turning America into like the territory that they had back in wherever they came from. Okay, and expanding more and more and more until it's just like certain areas are just taken over and run by certain gangs and crime syndicates and so on. which is going to be very interesting considering like the mindset, the spirit at least that this guy, I forgot his name again, but the border czar that Trump appointed, is coming with. All right. So how the clash basically is going to be something to anticipate to see what is that going to look like. All right, because it's hard to believe that these migrant gangs are just going to lay down and just that's it, call it a day. But we'll see how it ends up playing out. It says the homes of Mahomes, the homes of Mahomes and Kels were burglarized on consecutive days last month in the Kansas City area. The Minnesota home of former Vikings defensive tackle Linval Joseph, who now plays for the Dallas Cowboys, was part of a series of burglaries last weekend, according to police. And remember, once upon a time, this was squatting, right? They were saying, oh, you have migrants spotting our houses and going and squatting and taking them over and all of these things. And it just kept on snowballing from there. Multiple people with knowledge of the crimes said the perpetrators are non-confrontational and do not burglarize homes while while residents are inside. Instead, they use public records to find players' addresses and conduct extensive surveillance. So we're not talking about just airheads that are running up into places. Like it says, this is organized. Okay, it doesn't mean that they don't have the extensions that are more on the confrontational side that may have firepower, but listen to this. They're invading from within, basically, like this. Using them public records and digging through, and connecting different addresses and names and locations and it says surveillance. They're doing research. They're doing their homework. Then, by tracking team schedules and the social media accounts of players and their families, they wait until homes are empty, often during games, and gain access and quickly steal items such as cash, jewelry, watches, and handbags, focusing mainly on master bedrooms and closets. Now, pay attention to the things that they're taking, right? Cash, jewelry, watches, all of these things are okay, cool, makes sense. But when you now get to a situation where food becomes a scarcity, right? And, it comes down to that level of survival, they're going to start being a bit more confrontational. And the things that people are going to be looking for is going to go past just because you're not going to be able to eat a gold watch in a famine. The alert issued on Wednesday by NFL security confirmed the modus operandi and offered a number of recommendations, including not posting in real time on social media, installing security systems, and keeping valuables out of plain sight. These solutions are mitigation steps. These are not ways to solve this problem, right? But it's going to show you, it's going to show you that this is the level where things are at, to where now NFL players, NBA players are having their homes pretty much robbed, right, in real time. Anyways, separately, NBC News confirmed a memo sent by NBA to teams citing FBI intelligence about crimes linked to transnational South American theft groups that target professional athletes and other high net worth individuals. So yeah, they're gonna start coming for these and the scriptures tell you, riches profit not in the day of destruction, roughly paraphrasing. I believe that's Proverbs the 11th chapter. Okay, so it starts with the robbing of the mansions, but eventually it's gonna go, if unstopped and unchecked, it's gonna escalate past that. An alarming trend of illegal alien crimes has spread nationwide to major cities because of the Biden-Harris administration's nation-killing open southern border invasion that rolled out the red carpet to 10 plus million unvetted migrants. One of the worst transnational South American gangs is Tren de Aragua, spreading across the nation like stage 4 cancer, setting up operations in major cities, just like I mentioned. Okay, and before you know it, now, imagine what the operation would have to look like when Trump comes in, if he comes in, to try and uproot them out of here. right? Because once again, these gangs also have arms, right? And they're like the guy said, cancer cells within the nation. So that's going to have to be a very extensive, probably even a military operation in order to find out who and where, they are investigating and then being able to get them out of there. Um, says here, just months ago, investigative reporter James O'Keefe published a U.S. Army North Division memo that warned an estimated 5,000 TDA, right, acronym for the gang, gangsters were in the U.S. We suspect that number is a lot higher. Of course. And of course it would be. And the thing is, like, because of, what Biden basically did, now they walk amongst, regular civilians. So the question is, how are you going to be able to tell? All right. The American people have given President-elect Donald Trump and incoming border czar Tom Homan a mandate to fix this illegal alien invasion crisis. It's time to hold accountable those who rolled out the red carpet for dangerous illegal aliens. Now, this is also very key and important. This ties in with the reasoning for propaganda, right? Why does a nation use propaganda? They use propaganda most of the time to demonize their targets, and by doing so, they garner support for their cause. And then that justifies whatever means they have to take in order to accomplish that thing, right? Because the people are in support of it, so they don't have to worry about taking extensive measures and then people are like, oh, that's too much, or you need to chill. No, so the problem is bad enough and the people, see the problem as bad enough, then we gotta, we can do whatever we need to do to have that happen. Even if what we need to do is something that the people were originally against. Right? So they might tell you got to give up some more powers or freedoms, or, we got to declare that state of emergency because that is what this is. And then we got to come up in there and we got to fix this thing. That's how they're saying it, but fixing can have a couple of definitions there, right? You can fix by destroying, you can fix through damage, you can fix in many ways. But I want to get this quick precept, here in 2nd Ezra 15, because, that's pretty much what's unraveling. And as things escalate and time moves forward, it will become more and more prevalent. 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. That's what you're seeing. All right. Home invasions, burglaries, different sorts of crimes all over the country. Jumping down to verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So there you have it. This is what's going on. They're not starting, but they're moving on to bigger and better things, i.e. NFL and NBA players, but they won't be the only high net worth individuals that they'll be coming for. So anyway, with that, Lord willing, this was edifying and informative to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Ba'asham Rachakudash. Until next time, Shalom.